UFC lightweight king Islam Makhachev has been far away from the UFC octagon following his UFC 302 showdown with Dustin Poirier. But while the Russian was lying back, taking his time off fighting, he had an unsuspecting visitor in ACA Absolute Championship Akhmat champion, Mehdi Baidulaev. ACA is a Russian MMA, kickboxing, and BJJ organization and one of the leading promotions in Europe that bases its tournaments in Grozny, Russia. Since both UFC and ACA have champions from the same country and from similar circles, it was inevitable that the two would meet at some point. Now, while the champions' conversation was strictly in Russian, the MMA community witnessed the ACA bantamweight take a closer look at Makhachev's UFC gold, seemingly comparing it with his belt. Earlier this year in June, the UFC lightweight champion defended his throne against a dangerous Dustin Poirier at UFC 302. While the Louisiana slugger came out swinging, catching the Russian Sambo artist with several blows, he was no match for Makhachev's elite wrestling game once the fight reached championship rounds. After a thrilling back and forth, the Russian pulled a spinning leg trick out of his hat and had Poirier choke out to a DRS choke. Since then, the champ has mostly been chilling back home, going on fishing trips, enjoying time with his family, meeting fellow Dagestani champions like Baidulaev, and having a ball of a time. However, when he returns, he will be defending his title against number 1 Arman Tsarukyan. If he goes over Tsarukyan like the MMA community expects him to, featherweight champion Ilia Topuria already has his sights set on Makhachev. Well, the Spaniard doesn't want a street fight with Islam Makhachev simply because he doesn't want to bear the latter's hospital expenses. Now, that is a very bold claim. While El Matador poked a jab at the Dagestani, Makhachev responded back with a cold warning, asking the young champion to be careful with his words. However, he doesn't seem to get the idea. In fact, overlooking his upcoming UFC 308 main event against Max Holloway, the Spaniard has proposed a fight with Islam, settling the scores once and for all like adults. He noted down his thoughts in a tweet on X that said, "I don't need to cross lines, but it seems like the kids that hang out with you will try to cross a line they can't come back from. Let's leave the kids out of it and settle it like adults inside the octagon 2025. Topuria is, of course, referring to Bellator lightweight champion Usman Nurmagomedov, who was the first of the Dagestanis to respond to Toria's street fight claims, asking if the European boy had ever been fought and won before. Well, it appears Topuria has managed to get to Islam's attention anyway. So maybe there will be a champ versus champ fight sometime next year. Topuria will have to beat Holloway first though.